Hey everybody, this is cobradvs and Neo Flynn back again for RattleCast.
Hey everybody.
And we have a third this week. It is
Capcom 14.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut in there.
No, that's alright. Chase. But on YouTube his name is Kefka14, so we'll leave a link to his channel. You know the works. Check him out. You going for Intellivision right now, Chase? Is that your...
Yeah, pretty much. I've been collecting lately for the Intellivision and the Sega Game Gear a whole lot, so yeah.
You don't hear people collecting for the Game Gear, hardly ever.
Well, it's a really hard system to collect for. I know loose, it's very easy to collect for because most of the games cost under $10 loose, but trying to get a box set is near impossible, you know?
Mm-hmm. There is only, like, one game I really want to get for the Game Gear boxed, and that is Battletoads. Just because I'd like to complete my Battletoads collection, and I have like 3 games left, and they're all the portable versions, so... Alright, whatever.
I didn't even know there was a Battletoads on Game Gear.
Yeah. One of the more expensive games, actually, on the Game Gear, believe it or not, too, so...
You know, there's actually a Game Gear, a Battletoads on the Master System, but it's called... I think it's called Battle Maniacs, but it was made by some Brazilian company, so it's really, really hard to find.
Is it an NTSC release?
I don't think it is, and I've only seen it like twice, maybe, and it probably sucks. But okay, that's enough of that. So we'll go ahead and start it up with the comments. Chase, feel free to chime in whenever you want.
Okay.
All right. So the first comment is from Maximum RD. He says, "Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I knew the reference the second I heard it. LOL." He was talking about Intellivision Dude had a reference that said, "I'm a rebel, daddy." That's what that was about. SOL's Game Room says, "Excellent episode, guys. I look forward to these every Friday. Keep up the good work." Great, that's nice. All right, Intellivision Dude has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 comments, and one of those comments is a reply to his own comment. Okay. All right, so the first one is fairly long. The rest of them aren't. The first one says, "The story of Coleco sabotaging Donkey Kong on the Intellivision and 2600 is only a rumor. It still could have happened, but people now are leaning towards that instead of Intellivision's own experienced programmers making the game. Coleco's did, and they had no experience making games for it. And they were rushed. The story that INTV's programmers made their own version just for fun, to show what it could look, to show that it could look so much better, but that's just a rumor as well." Yeah, when you play like Donkey Kong on the Intellivision or the Atari 2600, it's really kind of bad. And the ColecoVision one's good. Well, we talked about that last time, but...
Yeah. And we said it was a rumor, but...
Mm-hmm. Alright, and then in reply to his own comment, for some reason, it says, "That's a common problem with a lot of retro games. Programmers are being rushed to make a deadline." And he gives an example of Pac-Man and E.T. on the Atari 2600.
Good examples.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. One time, I did a thing for school once, and how long was it that they had like 6 months or something to program E.T.? It might have been less actually,
something
but
like that.
6 months
wasn't a long time.
Insane.
It was something like that. I know. Basically, Stephen Warshaw had till Christmas to get it finished,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like 4 or 5 months from Christmas. So
that's ridiculous. Okay, and then he says, "Don't even start the Atari versus NES argument. You are too young to appreciate the addictiveness and simplistic excellence that is the 2600 with a smiley face."
You got the simplistic part right.
Yeah, the excellence is... No, I'm just kidding. It's a decent... it's alright. But he says, "The 7800 doesn't deserve an F. That's just biased. It deserves at least a C. While some games could be done better on the 7800, Commando on the 7800 is superior over the NES version." I've never played it.
I actually have, and I can agree with that. Actually, it's a really good version of it. If you ever get a chance to play it.
It's like one of the rarer ones, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not too expensive though for a loose copy. I think I paid about $20 for mine or so. It's not too bad.
That's pretty good. No, that's all right. What's the most expensive?
Enough
what's
to
the
bust out
most...
the 7800.
Yeah, I haven't played mine in ages. What's the most expensive 7800 game? Is it like Alien Brigade or something?
It depends on what you're looking for. As far as actual official Atari ones, it would either be Planet Smashers or Alien Brigade. But there was a third-party company called Froggo, and they released a game called Tank Command that's actually usually regarded as the rarest. That isn't like, a test cartridge or something of that,
I've never heard of that one. Okay, and then his last comment says they gave the Jaguar a higher grade than the 7800. Now I know the people who made this list are complete morons with a smiley face. I forgot what the Jaguar launched with, but unless it launched with Alien versus Predator, I doubt it got a very high score, so I'd say the 7800 probably deserved a higher one.
I mean, it's packing game with Cybermorph. I mean,
Ugh.
Yeah.
Where did you learn to pack in games? I hate that thing.
Yeah.
All right. And then James, Mr. B-Lands, a.k.a. James, Nick's friend, says, another great episode, guys. I think it's really interesting seeing the scores for Nintendo launch systems slip in direct correlation with lack of Mario games. Do you think the Wii U will have 3 or 4 of them just to ensure a big launch? Keep up the good work. I think it's a stretch to say 3 or 4. Do I think it'll have one? Probably.
I think it's a stretch to say 1, looking at the Wii's launch titles. I mean, most of it was shovelware,
Mm-hmm.
It depends what you consider a Mario game. Like a straight-up Mario game, yeah, it'll probably only have 1. But then they might do, a Mario Kart or Super Smash Brothers or something. So
actually, yeah, well, that's interesting. One of my news stories has to deal with Super Smash Brothers. So I guess it'd be a good time to just go ahead and jump into news if you guys are all right with that.
Yep.
All right. I just got to find which one it is. Crap. All right, it's the first one I have. All right, I'll do one, then Nick does one, then I do one, then Nick does one. That's how we'll do it. Okay, so this is about, the title of the article is Change Coming to Super Smash Bros., Wii U, and 3DS. I had no idea that there was even a Smash Brothers game announced for either of these systems, but apparently they were announced at E3 last year. And I'm pretty excited for the 3DS one. I mean, the Wii U one will be good. I mean, that's, it's going to happen. But the 3DS one, to take Super Smash Brothers, like, on the road, or, in your, whatever, portable, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is a really good idea.
Yeah. And I think the 3DS is the perfect system to pull it off. All right, so this article talks about the creator of the series. Where is his name? All right, cut me some slack here. Masahiro Sakurai. Masahiro Sakurai. We'll go with that. All right, he says that they can't just keep making games. They can't just keep improving them by adding new characters and stages. They're going to have to change it up a little bit. He doesn't say what they're going to do, but he says they have to change it up. And the article points to some things that have improved over the series. Like the first one, I think what were there, like 10 characters and 10 stages maybe?
12 characters, I believe.
Oh, okay. And then Melee smashed the door open, and then Brawl exploded the door.
Just destroyed it.
Yeah. And he says they need to do something than just add more characters and stages to change up the game. And, they can probably do it. I know with, like, the first Super Smash Brothers, there was just the single player, and then you had adventure mode in the other one, and then you had the full-on story mode in Brawl. So, I'm more anxious. I would take, like, a remake of Melee or something on the 3DS and be completely happy.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting debate on to which version of Smash that you prefer, like Brawl or Melee or whatever. I don't know. There's kind of a divided line there.
I'll say this. I spent a lot more time on Melee than I did Brawl, but I think Brawl is probably the better of the games, just as far as, like, its content and everything.
There's just so much more to do in it, but
yeah,
I think that gives it the edge anyway.
I know with Melee, I got obsessed with unlocking characters, and I'm trying to think if I got them all or not. Who's the last character in that game? Is it Mr. Game & Watch?
Pretty much. Either him or Mewtwo, I believe.
Okay, well, I have them both, so maybe I did get it all, so. But that was cool. All right, well, I thought that was interesting. And they're saying that maybe since the Wii U sort of has that tablet thing, that the games could connect somehow.
Yeah, it says they will.
Okay, will connect, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
It says the key is going to be a dual support for 3DS/Wii U, so.
Which will be awesome. That would be sweet. I don't know how it'll work, what it'll do, but that'd be awesome. So, all right, so there's my Smash Brothers take for the day.
My first one is something about Skyrim. which I found interesting. I guess they just released a patch, and it's going to have Connect functionality added to it, which anytime you do Connect and, you know, other games is kind of scary, except for a few bright spots like Gunstringer, Fruit Ninja Connect. Outside of that, it's kind of a scary thought, but i.e. Connect Star Wars, but we won't go there. But basically, instead of using the motion control, it actually uses the voice recognition option. So, like, if you're in a battle, you can say sword, and it'll pull out your sword, or you can say bow, and it'll pull out your bow, rather than you having to navigate the menus. So I think that's a really cool idea and a really good way to implement, you know, Connect functionality into games that you wouldn't normally think of having it. So I think developers are finally learning how to do Connect properly.
Yeah. You mentioned Star Wars there. That game got pretty mediocre reviews, didn't it?
Yeah. It's not good from what I hear.
Man, that sucks. That's like a wasted opportunity.
Yeah, I was super excited for it, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be.
Yeah. I guess they can't all be winners.
Yeah.
But that one should have been. I mean, that's like bottom line. That should have been.
Yeah, it's pretty simple, but apparently the best part of it is the stupid dance mode, so that's not a good one. All
right. Okay, well, this next one I have is, it's like the exact opposite of the article you had last week about how, what was it about how the era of the $60 game is coming to an end? Well, this one is predicting the opposite. And I found this to be, it's sort of like an opinion piece more than a straight-up article. But I kind of found quite a few fallacies with it, to be honest. I've just noted a few. The first thing it says is that gaming is becoming more expensive. Well, I think we kind of talked about that with the launch title. Oh, we didn't get to it, actually. That was one thing I wanted to do, and we didn't, was the cost of games at their launch. You know, over the years, maybe fluctuated $10 for a game. I don't know if that judges for inflation or not, but it's really, the cat is like bumping into my head. It's really not getting that much more expensive. Maybe systems.
Systems are, because they're not even really being systems anymore. They're doubling as so many other things, DVDs and Blu-ray and all kinds of crap now, That's part of the reason why they're, increasing in price, is because they're not just consoles anymore.
Yeah, they're damn near computers, really.
Yeah,
well, they are a computer, but, like a PC is almost what they're like. All right, what else does he say? Okay, he says that some analysts are saying games could cost $100 in the future. That number sounds so overblown. I can't even fathom it.
Well,
there's no way.
Random thing to chime in. I actually took a vacation to Switzerland last summer, and games over there are way more expensive than games here. I guess maybe they're harder to get or harder to localize or something, but just a random thought. I mean, when I would find games like Final Fantasy 13, which had just come out there last summer, and it had been out over here for 3 years prior to that, it cost like 89.99 francs, which is like $120 US.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know what that means exactly in terms of here, where you're talking about. It just made me think of it.
That's interesting.
It could just be correlation to their cost of living is different, but
it's a lot more expensive to live there. So.
But I don't. Here's what I think. I think we'll sooner see DLC or download games only than we'll see the $100 game. And I'm talking $100 standard games. Like for Halo Reach, for instance, the Legendary was $150, but you get all this extra stuff. The normal game was just $60. I'm talking normal games for $100. I think we'd sooner see download only games than we will a $100 game.
Yeah, I don't see it ever getting that high, just because people wouldn't pay that much. Like,
yeah,
we're hard pressed to pay 60 as it is. So.
Wait. Okay, and the last thing it says is it says that console support length is getting shorter. It's saying, it gives the example of the NES being supported from 1985 to 1995, which is true. But now it's saying that the Wii, since we have the Wii U coming out in 2012, that the Wii U will only be supported from 2006 when it released to 2012. Well, that doesn't even make any sense, because if you look back at his previous example with the NES, the Super NES came out in 1991, and it still had 4 more years of support for the NES. What's to say the Wii is going to be any different?
Right.
Especially if it's backwards compatible.
The best example of supporting systems for a while will come from Sony. I mean, they don't sell them in stores, but they still manufacture PlayStation 1 games and sell them on their website and stuff. So, like, they've been supporting the PS. Yeah, they've been supporting the PS2 since it came out. It's still being manufactured, for example. So.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
going to
you can
mention
still
the
buy
PS2.
PS2 games in the store.
Yeah, PS2. That's the number one selling console of all time, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty sick. So, I found that article, and it has okay points, but I think overall, it's pretty wrong.
Yeah, I don't see, like, the $100 game, I don't see that ever happening. Like you said, we'd be more pressed to go download only before.
Yeah, I mean, that'll drop costs. Well, it should. It probably won't, but it should.
You would think.
Yeah. All right, well, that's it for me, so.
All right, my last one is another lawsuit story. This time it's GameStop, and I can't
Somebody
believe that
sued
they...
GameStop, Nick? Are you sure?
Yeah, I know, right? But the lawsuit itself is so stupid that I can't believe this person actually won. Basically, what the gist of it is that they were claiming that GameStop was purposely misleading consumers when they were buying used games. That, take like, an EA game that has the online pass or something. This person was saying that GameStop was saying you would get the DLC in your used copy, which obviously, if you know how those things work, if it's used, it's already going to be used. So, I don't really know how they won this settlement, but they did. So the court actually found in favor of the guy, and basically the settlement comes down to them sending out like $10 checks and $5 to people that buy used games.
How much was the settlement check? Do you know?
I don't know what the total is, but basically people that are affected get either a $10 check and a $5 coupon for the return, a $5 check and a $10, based on whether or not they're a Power Up Boards member. So I just thought it was stupid that they actually won that lawsuit, because obviously if you're buying something used that has a code in it, that code's already going to be used by the person that bought it originally. So if you didn't realize that, you're stupid.
Well, that's odd. Well,
apparently it only affects people in California because that's where the lawsuit was filed. But
maybe only people in California are dumb enough to do something like that.
Right.
Well, at first I was kind of wondering, why go after GameStop? Everybody sells DLC games, or games with DLC, but I guess because they're used, that would make sense.
Because they're used, yeah. It was the used games that were at the Target.
That's just stupid. Like, bluntly put, that's just stupidity.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to know, like you said, exactly how they did win that. Like what did they say? How did that happen? That's dumb. That's really dumb.
My bet would be that the judge is an old man, and he's like reminiscing about Atari,
Yeah.
People.
Yeah. So who knows how they won? But
people are dumb. Yeah, it's bottom line.
Like, that's common sense. The game is used. If it has a code, that code's going to be used. Like, it's common sense. But
yeah.
Whatever.
Trying to think of an analogy I could use, but I'm not thinking of one. Oh well. Okay, well, news over. Alright, so we can go ahead and move on to Gaming Spotlight. And Chase, I know you're not too familiar with DLC according to our chat the other day, but the Gaming Spotlight this week is... Nick chose it. You can go ahead and talk about it, Nick.
Well, basically, I just wanted to talk about the DLC in general, both the good and the bad. And what kind of wanted me to bring up this was the whole controversy over Street Fighter versus Tekken.
Yeah.
And how there was DLC found to be on the disc, and people were all up in arms about it.
Mm-hmm.
It just, like, I don't know, like, I get where they're coming from, but then on the other hand, I'm like, okay, so if it wasn't on the disc, but they had it ready day one, would you still be upset about it? Because their big claim was, well, if it's ready, it should be on the disc, it should be included in the game that we're paying for. But, like, if they released it on day one, I don't think people would have gotten up in arms about it. It's just because it was already on the disc that they're saying, oh, they're withholding content purposefully and all this. And, they gave a real lame excuse as to why it was on the disc. And they were saying that it was for compatibility issues and to save hard drive space. But it's like, we're not that stupid. We know that you put it on there because it's done.
Right.
But, I think DLC in general is a good thing. But it has to be done right. Like, some companies take advantage of it hardcore. I think EA is probably one of the worst examples I can come up with.
Yeah.
Like, even in their sports games, like, they'll put stuff in there to, like, accelerate your franchise or your dynasty. Like, NCAA football had this thing you could buy to, like, give you instant, like, mega prospects and all this stuff. I'm like, anybody that pays for that is just an idiot. Like, so I think they're one of the negative aspects of it. But then you've got games like Borderlands that do it right. Where
Yeah.
each release is almost like a full-fledged game in and of itself. So
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's an interesting topic.
Well, yeah, I think what you said about EA, they're probably the worst. I think you'd be hard pressed to find anybody worse than them.
Yeah.
As far as like the money grubbing sort of crap. But not too far behind them is Capcom. I mean, I can't think of too many DLC examples other than this what is it, Street Fighter Cross Tekken thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, for example, they have like, Street Fighter 4, Super Street Fighter 4, Super Street Fighter 4 Hyper Fighting, Super Street Fighter 4 Hyper Fighting Arcade Edition. But that's off track. We're talking DLC here, but yeah, that article that I had not long ago or just a few minutes ago about the $100 gaming, it was talking about that Street Fighter Cross Tekken on disc DLC, and I'd actually never heard of it. Now I'd heard of it, but not with that game in specific. I've heard of it before, and people getting mad about it.
But
But
I think Mass Effect had it too, but
Yeah.
Mass Effect 3 had something on there
Yeah.
that they released day one, but
Well, see, I'm trying to think, like what you said, if it was available for download day one, would people be that upset about it? I don't know.
I don't think they would. Like, I think it was the fact that it was already on the disc that pissed people off, but that's really nothing new to withhold content. Like, if you're naive to think that companies aren't already working on DLC when the game comes out, then you're stupid, because they are. Like, I guarantee you, like, every big release that comes out, they're already working on DLC before the game comes out. Like, it's just common sense, because that stuff takes time. So.
Yeah. All right, so obviously, EA is a bad way to do it, and obviously Capcom didn't go about it very well either. But you mentioned Borderlands. I think Borderlands is pretty much one of the prime best examples for proper DLC that I can think of.
Yeah, Borderlands and Fallout were the two that immediately.
I was just gonna say Fallout.
Of how to do it right,
I didn't actually play Fallout, but I do remember my Xbox dashboard being clogged up with these new expansion packs sort of things.
But see, they do it right because, like, each expansion pack either adds a new area or adds a new element. That's the same thing with Borderlands. Like, each one, was almost like a new release. Kind of like expansion packs on PC is the best I can come up with, rather than just having it be map packs. Like, I think map packs are the stupidest DLC in the world. Well, maybe not the stupidest, but I just don't get them. Like, unless it's even Halo. Like, I didn't buy the map packs for Halo, and I played the crap out of that game just because.
Yeah.
I just.
Well, I don't know. We might come at a crossroad here. I think I like map packs. I do and I don't. I like expanding on the multiplayer, but I don't like buying things like that.
Yeah, like, give map packs away for free,
Yeah, I mean, well, that's not gonna happen. It's just,
or at least make them cheaper. God, they're so
yeah. What is it, like Call of Duty, or just, they're so expensive. Are they like 1,600 points or something?
It's 12
or 12. Yeah, I think it might be 12. That's $15
for maps.
Yeah, and then, oh, hey Nick, but you can get those maps for free if you spend $100, or is it 50? I think it's 100.
Elite.
Yeah, Call of Duty Elite. You know what? And while I'm on the Call of Duty tangent here, let me just say something else. I have never seen a series of games in my life, ever, with more unoriginal DLC map names, period, than that game series. They are wretched. There will be a map, let's see, it'll be in Central Park. It'll be called Park. Or one that's in, like, an airplane hangar. It'll be called Hangar.
The hangar.
Think of something else. I shouldn't be able to exactly tell what the map's going to be about just by reading the name.
The name, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, whatever. That's a terrible. I hate that. That bothers me so much. Yeah, whatever. I'm trying to think of more examples of DLC done right. Chase, you got anything to say about DLC?
I'm so unfamiliar with DLC that it's not even funny. The only exposure I've ever had to it was with Rock Band Beatles. Like when it first came out, everyone wanted more Beatles songs than what was actually on the game, so they started releasing downloadable content to get different albums and whatnot. And they were free, actually, if I remember correctly. So DLC done right, in my opinion, but that's the only exposure I've ever really had to it.
Now, is EA involved with Rock Band?
I don't know.
They're the publisher, but they're not the
Not the developer, huh?
not the developer. Yeah.
Huh. And it was free DLC and EA's involved? Something,
Yeah, but keep in mind, this was a while back,
Yeah, I guess so. Something's not adding up there, but I guess, yeah. Sorry, I just got a a notification from my phone about an eBay watched item ending, and it's so inconsistent. I have 11 ended watched items, and I didn't even know about like half of these. Damn phone. I don't know if you guys saw, this is sort of off topic, but there is a gold Nintendo World Championships card on eBay.
Oh, there is. I did not see that at all.
It ended, actually. It ended. The starting bid was at $27,000. Didn't sell. I don't know that that's... I didn't know that that's surprising or not. What's it worth? I think it's worth probably about 20, right?
Yeah, it sells usually around 18 to 22, somewhere through that range, but 27 is way too much. Unless it's somehow boxed, which I don't think is possible.
No, it's not boxed, but it is VGA graded. And people seem to... here, I'll send you guys the link here. People seem to think that because it's VGA graded, all of a sudden it's worth, 30 times as much. Something real funny, if you guys want to read, reading the questions that people have asked about this thing, it's kind of funny. Some of them are pretty good. But anyway, sorry, that was just something I wanted to mention. I don't know if you guys saw it or not.
Wait, is it? How does he have like the innards showing?
Yeah, I don't know that either. It's like I'll put the link to this in the description.
I think they opened it.
Yeah, it's opened. If you read the description, I think it was done that way by like somebody did that. I don't know, but it's in some UV protection case.
But why the heck would they open it? Doesn't that ruin it?
I don't know. Where are the
I guess you could put
screws?
it back together, but
Where are the screws at? Are they in there somewhere?
I guess they're thinking you're never gonna take it out of that little case. But
That's true. I'd prefer to have it together also. I think
That guy's a jerk.
Are you reading the?
Yeah, he's a jerk. He's a jerk. Listen to this question here. It says, if the VGA case, talking about the case that World Championship is in, can be taken apart and the Nintendo World Championship cart can be removed, how do we know you haven't replaced it with a fake? And also, where did you find this? And the guy answered back, really? That's your question? The case cannot be taken apart. It is sealed.
What an ass.
Yeah.
that's crazy. Anyway.
Hey, I was just browsing the questions. Yeah, that was off topic, but it's interesting. Anyway, DLC. One thing that I thought was interesting, or would be interesting to mention, is like really old forms of DLC. You mentioned expansion packs, which is essentially the same thing. An expansion pack, well, it's essentially what it should be. DLC should just be a downloadable expansion pack. It doesn't always work out that way, but that's what it should be. Yeah. But another interesting thing would be to talk about the Chase. You know more about this than I do. The Atari downloadable system that was available.
Yeah, I'm not. There's several different versions of it, but the most interesting one, in my opinion, is there was a company called Zanti, and basically they had like a kiosk kind of thing in game stores or in stores that sold Atari games years ago, and you could walk up to it with a blank Zanti cartridge and download like Asteroids and things like that onto them. They're actually very rare today, and it's kind of what. I compare it to like flash carts today, if you guys know what flash carts are, basically. Yeah, it was kind of like that, only with Atari. So, and so you could get more difficult versions of games too. Like you could get Asteroids Plus and stuff like that. Like Asteroids only a lot faster, just silly little things like that.
Now you could like buy the cartridges and then you just go to the machine and get what you wanted.
Yeah, but it was, to my understanding, that it was only through a certain part of the United States, and they were pretty hard to come by. Today, they're actually very rare. Zanti carts sell for 1,000 plus now, easy. I've never even really seen one in person, but they're blue actually, which is kind of interesting.
Now, if I don't know how much you know about this, but if I were to like download Asteroids on it, and all of a sudden I'm sick of Asteroids and I want the superior, in my opinion, missile command, could I go? Do I have to buy a new cartridge?
I don't think so. I think you could like erase it and reprint it, if I'm not mistaken. I could be incorrect on that though, but I believe that's what I've read, if I'm not mistaken.
Now, that should have taken off. I'm wondering why it didn't. I wonder if the price was too high or something.
It came around the end of the 2600's lifespan.
Oh.
Yeah, right around the crash. Well, not the end of the 2600 lifespan, but right around the crash, and just
that's a really good idea.
And like you said, if they were hard to find, then
yeah,
nobody could get access to them.
Yeah. And then not really much of a successor, but another thing to mention would be the what was it called? The Sega Channel, I think is what it's called.
Oh yeah.
The Sega. I think it was more like a rental thing, if anything, wasn't it? You didn't really buy the games; you just played them for a little bit.
You could get demos, I think. I don't think you could get full-on games on it,
but it sounds like you guys know what it is. But for those who don't, it's like it runs through. I believe you plug it into your phone line, so it does use. I guess what would
it
be
was either
dial-up?
phone line or your cable line. I wanted to say it was cable.
I connected it to my modem when I still had it, like on the Dreamcast. So.
Okay, and then you would like browse games, and you could like download them. I mean, Nick said maybe it was for just demos. You think, or would?
I think it was just demos. Yeah.
I remember actually downloading extra stuff for Phantasy Star Online with it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm talking.
Well, that's on the Dreamcast. This is Genesis.
Yeah, this is the thing on the Genesis.
Oh, on the Genesis. Oh,
yeah.
I was thinking about the Sega. Okay.
Now,
wow.
now, Nick, you're saying it might be just demos. I don't know if it is. It might be. I mean, it might probably has both. First, probably. But
use the power of the internet and find out.
Yes, we have that capability now. But I remember hearing one time that Megaman: The Wily Wars, which was a Genesis exclusive, a combination of Mega Man 1, 2, and 3 on one cartridge, and it was only released in Europe. And it was available through the U.S. only through the Sega Channel.
Let's see here. For a monthly subscription of $14.95, along with $25 activation fee, you got the adapter which plugged into your cable.
So they had cable internet?
It was through your television. And you got unlimited access to 50 games. So I guess it was full-on games.
Wow, that seems like a pretty good deal.
In its later years, this was changed to a selection of 35 games, which rotated every 2 weeks. That's downloaded in about 1 minute and played just like the retail version. These games were organized by genre, yada yada yada.
Kind of like a remedial Wii shop.
Yeah.
And then it did have to have a special test drives for up-and-coming titles were provided. In some, after a certain time limit, 15 minutes, gameplay was terminated, and the player was returned to the menu. Other games had limited content. For example, Primal Rage had only 2 characters playable.
Who would play that game anyway? No, it's okay. It's okay. It's not. It's okay.
It's like
some games had to be altered due to transmission limits, such as Street Fighter II Champion Edition, only having 6 playable fighters, and Sonic 3D Blast being split into 2 halves. The player had to enter.
What was that?
Some of them had to be changed due to transmission limits, like if they were too big.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Street Fighter only had 6 playable fighters, and Sonic 3D Blast had to be split into 2 halves, where the player had to enter a code they had received by finishing Part 1 to download and start Part 2. So, it did have full-on games. There you go. Here's the thing about Wily Wars. Sega Channel exclusives such as Pulseman, Alien Soldier, Golden Axe 3, and Mega Man: The Wily Wars, among several others.
Yeah, those are pretty rare. Alien Storm, I've heard a little bit about that. That's supposed to be a pretty rare Genesis game. And if I'm not mistaken, that was only a European release as well. I don't think that was North American. Same with Wily Wars.
Yeah, Wily Wars is super rare, pretty much.
Yeah. I got a reproduction card. I got to tell you guys. I don't know if it's just the reproduction card or if this is how the game was, because it did come from a ROM of the real game, I would imagine, at some point. It's pretty lackluster, to be honest. The delay between the button pressing and the action on the screen, there is a delay. And it's not a lot, but it's noticeable and it throws you off. The slowdown is damn near impossible to, deal with, especially during a boss battle. If they're not hard enough, get ready for the slowdown, which is weird because, the Genesis, you hardly ever experience slowdown. That's normally a Super Nintendo thing. I can't think of any other Genesis game I've ever really experienced slowdown with.
I don't think I ever have, now that I think on it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like blast processing, all that.
It could be part of the fact that it's a repo cart. Cause
Yeah, and that's what I'm leaning towards. But, I'd rather play the NES ones because I thought it'd be a cool thing to, have in the collection. A super rare game, but it's a reproduction, which is okay. I want to get an NWC reproduction, actually. But,
just to have it.
Yeah, just to play it. All right, what are we talking? DLC. We're talking about DLC. We were just talking about the Sega Channel. So, the Sega Channel, that was a pretty cool idea. How did that thing you were reading say how long it was around?
Let's see. Does not say.
I can't imagine it being terribly long. Or did it say when it came out anyway?
Let's see. Didn't say when it started. It ended in 1998. So.
Oh wow.
What was I thinking of with the Dreamcast then? What was I even?
That does have online capability.
Yeah, it just has regular online.
But it's not. I don't know if you can like. I don't think it was ran under the same network as the Sega Channel.
I know it was called Sega something though, like Sega Shop or something. I don't remember. It's been years since I've even looked at that stuff.
Damn it, you're right. It was called something. What was that called? Nick, you have the power of the internet, right? No,
I do.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I was trying to see when Sega Channel started, but it doesn't. December of '94, so 4 years.
I wonder if you could play like 32X games. That'd be kind of cool. I doubt it, since they're probably bigger.
Yeah.
All right, I'm googling what was the Dreamcast Sega Net. That's what it's called.
That's what it was. I was thinking of that when you guys brought that up. Yeah.
I've heard you can actually still connect the Dreamcast online through a series of weird crap.
That's not shocking at all.
Same with the Saturn, actually. There's a website I was on with that had Saturn, group of Saturn people that have Saturns, whatever, that connect still and play. Anyway, so back to DLC. So from what I think after you have your online for the Saturn and Dreamcast. Did Dreamcast have downloadable content?
No. Not because they wouldn't have had any way to store it really, except for your memory card.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the only game I ever remember downloading anything for was Phantasy Star Online, just to get some extra stuff or whatever. That's really about it. It wasn't really content as much as it was just like unlockable stuff.
And then Nintendo never touches DLC. I can't think of I mean, the Wii is the only system in the DS that really utilizes online.
I can sort of think of one thing Nintendo related that's kind of like DLC.
What's
there was a system released in China called the Nintendo IQ. Basically, it was like a controller, and it was similar to what those Atari carts were. I was talking, those Atari carts.
I've heard of this.
Yeah, they would hook it to a kiosk, and you could download a certain set of Nintendo 64 games onto it. It was like a plug-and-play 64, basically.
That sounds insanely awesome.
That's not so much DLC as just another way to
play games.
Produce it to the consumer, because you're not actually online, you're just downloading it from the store, kiosk, or whatever.
I think DLC
kind of form, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I think console DLC really took off when the Xbox came out, because what I think of is Halo 2 having, was it 4 map packs on Halo 2?
I don't remember.
Well, anyway, when I think of beginning DLC for mainstream for the consoles, I'd lean towards the Xbox being a big part of that. I know the PS2 had some online capability.
Yeah.
I don't know if it had DLC though.
I don't think it did.
Yeah, because you would have had to buy that crappy hard drive for it.
Yeah, and now maybe one of you two can shed some light on this, but there's a thing that can plug into the bottom of the GameCube called a broadband adapter. Do you guys know what that is?
I don't know about the broadband adapter. I know about the Game Boy adapter. But...
Yeah, well, no, it doesn't plug in an attachment. There's these little ports on the bottom Like, you have to actually take one of those things off to plug the Game Boy player in. But there's another one with some broadband adapter. Let's see if I can find it online.
I mean, what was even compatible with it?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know a single game.
Because I know you had the Game Boy connector cable that worked with, like, Wind Waker and Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, but as far as, like, connecting up to other things, that's, like, the only thing I really knew of for the GameCube.
Okay, here's what Wikipedia is saying, so take this with a grain of salt. It says, the Nintendo GameCube broadband adapter and modem adapter are a network adapter and 56K dial-up modem, respectively, for the Nintendo GameCube. They are adapters. They are adapters fit flush into the Serial 1 port on the other side of the GameCube. Yada yada yada. Okay, here are the games that apparently were compatible: Homeland, which I have never heard of; Phantasy Star Online Episodes 1 and 2; Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2 Plus; Mario Kart Double Dash was available through LAN, which is sweet. I didn't know that. 1080 Degrees Avalanche is a LAN only, and Kirby Air Ride is available with a LAN connection as well.
I knew the Phantasy Star was, now that I think about it, because in Japan they released a keyboard controller, actually. Yeah, now that I think back on that, I remember seeing that somewhere, but I never knew about the LAN stuff. That's really cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Especially Mario Kart Double Dash, that's a badass game. That's a really good game.
Yeah, basically you'd plug it into your PC and use the PC to simulate. That's how you'd play, like, Double Dash Online, is what I'm saying.
It sounds very inconvenient.
Yeah.
It's dial-up, too, so...
Yeah, that's a mess, that dial-up. I remember having dial-up. That's blue. Okay, well, unless you guys have anything else to say about DLC, I think we've covered every nook and cranny possible.
Yeah.
Besides PC. We didn't really touch about PC, but that's okay. That's because it's not really DLC much.
Yeah, that's a different topic.
Yeah. But, all right, well, Nick, you also picked the game of the week this week, so you can go ahead and set that up.
Yeah, but I've struggled to come up with one this time, but I finally settled on Double Dragon, because who doesn't love Double Dragon?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a classic. I mean, I don't know what your memories of Double Dragon are. I know what mine are.
Oh, I've got some.
You first.
Okay. All right, let's go back to... All right, this was back when... All right, when was Guitar Hero 2 a popular game? Like 2005, maybe?
Yeah, somewhere around.
Okay. All right, this was... I was at I was at my grandma's neighbor's house, and he invited me over. He goes, "Yeah, I got this Guitar Hero 2," and and I was like, that's when actually I got addicted to Guitar Hero. For that short, spurt of time. I played Carry On My Wayward Son, but he had an NES. And we had played it before. We actually used to be neighbors. I used to live near my grandma. We used to be neighbors. We'd play it occasionally. And I was introduced to a couple of NES games that I still play. Well, I don't play Double Dragon that much, but I still play the other one a lot. The first one was The Adventures of Lolo, which has turned into one of my absolute favorite NES games of all time. And Double Dragon was the other one. And, then the third one was Jaws on the NES, which is the worst of the three, no doubt about it. But that was the first time I'd played Double Dragon over at my old neighbor's house. And hey, that's a great game. That's a fun game. So when I ended up finding out about this little store called Funko Land, which later turned into GameStop, having retro games, hell, I went over there and I got let's see, I got Lolo, I got Double Dragon, and I got Jaws. And, from then on out, I played... Oh, there was actually a fourth. It was Cabal. I don't know if you remember me talking about Cabal. That was a game of the week in the first run-around.
Yeah.
But anyway, those four. And Double Dragon was one of those. And that was my first experience. Never had it as a kid.
Yeah, see, I did have it as a kid, and I can remember my brother and I playing that thing to death, trying to beat it. I don't know if we ever succeeded in beating it without the Game Genie, but like it's just so good. Like it's the side-scrolling beat 'em up, but to me it's the best side-scrolling beat 'em up ever because it's just like the various characters and just the way the levels are laid out. Like it's perfect to me, but I'm nostalgic like that.
All right, Chase.
My memories of Double Dragon are kind of interesting. I never played it on NES actually. I actually played it on Master System at first, and my grandfather,
I wanted to mention this. Let me hear your thoughts about it first.
Well, my grandfather had it on Master System, and we put 2-player when I was a little kid. And when I was like 2 or 3, I thought it kicked ass. But, obviously it's not really that good. It's just because I was really tiny. But when I got older, my mother would go to this laundromat, and I would go with her, and they had a Play Choice 10 with Double Dragon on it, actually.
Oh, sweet.
And I remember playing it and beating that and Contra, and trying to beat Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on it when I was like 6 years old.
You beat Contra when you were 6?
Yeah, I did actually. I
I'm
remember
19,
it very well.
and I can't even beat it without the Konami code.
I don't remember if I probably used the Konami code. I don't remember because I remember they had like a little book of cheats like on top of the Play Choice 10. I would get a chair and get it. So I'm assuming I had it. It's been years though. So.
Okay, so what do you think about now the Double Dragon on the Master System?
Oh, it's crap.
Yeah, the Master System version of that game is really, really bad.
It's god awful.
It's not even in the same league. It's really I did a video about it, and I played it, and it's like I expected it to be at least above or on par with the NES version, maybe even a little bit better because it does have the hardware, as some people like to say, which it probably does. I'm not going to argue that, but the game blows.
I mean, the only thing it has up on it is the whole 2-player option, which,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm an only child anyway, so when I was playing it, it didn't really matter,
Yeah. Yeah, the Master System version's garbage, but when I think the best thing about Double Dragon is, and let me know if you disagree, is the music.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
The music is phenomenal.
That's odd. I'm very familiar with a lot of video game music, but Double Dragon not so much actually. So.
Oh man, it's like every song.
And it just fits so well, like with the gameplay. Like, I don't know. I didn't even know how to describe it. That's how good it is. Like, just go play it and enjoy it.
I think some of my favorite music is the between stages music, where it's like stage 2. It's like how's it go?
That little bass riff, yeah.
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 Damn, that's awesome. That's classic. Man, I'm going through tunes in my head right now, and it's got me excited. I want to play some Double Dragon.
We know what Tyler's doing when we stop recording.
Yeah, it's still in the NES. I was brushing up before I got it, or before we did this, and I got a few things to say that aren't as bright about Double Dragon. Nothing about the original. The original's a classic, and it deserves every bit of praise that it gets. Double Dragon 2 I have, but I've never played. Double Dragon 3 I don't have and have never played. How are those ones?
I like them all just because I'm a big fan of the series, but some people like to bag on 3. But
yeah, I've never played 2, and I've played 3 briefly, and I don't think it's as bad as what people say it is. I mean, it's not the first one by any means. The first one's classic, but it's not awful like a lot of people seem to think it is.
Now, the third one is where they replaced the character Billy with Bimmy, right? Is that
Bimmy?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's funny. So after Double Dragon 3, what was Double Dragon 4? Did they have one?
Yeah.
I think that was the Super Nintendo one. I think.
Okay, is it Super Double Dragon? Is that the 4th one?
Or it might just be. It might be. I don't.
I know there's a Double Dragon 5 that it's literally just called Double Dragon 5. I'm almost positive of that. So.
And it's a fighting game, isn't it? I think it's a fighting game.
I'm not sure on that. I've never really played it. I don't know.
All right, let's see. I've never played it. I've heard it's really bad. 5.
Well, they had the mode B in the first one, which is kind of like a fighting game.
Yeah. All right, Classic Game Room has an episode on it. He'll know.
Nobody ever played mode B anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Well, how many were there? Just the 2 modes? I thought there were more.
Yeah. There was mode A and mode B, and then it was 1-player, 2-player in each mode. But yeah, mode B was just like you fighting each other with the boss characters. It was kind of fun.
Okay. All right. Let's see if I can get some gameplay here. Oh yeah, it's a fighter. It actually looks kind of halfway decent, to be honest. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought. But anyway, all right, let's see. There was Double Dragon 4, which we'll assume that it was Super Double Dragon. And then there's Double Dragon 5. And then after that, what happened? Did they kind of just vanish?
Yeah, I think they just stopped making them.
Because I know on the Genesis there's a version of Double Dragon. I've never played that. Have you guys?
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't either. But I do know this. There's a I don't know if it's even at all related to the NES version, but there's a Double Dragon 3 on the Genesis, and it's freaking terrible. See, for me, and Nick, you said you think it's the best beat 'em up of all time. I'm partial to the 16-bit beat 'em ups, like Turtles in Time and Streets of Rage.
Yeah. Well, see, that probably it's more, your generation type thing. But since I grew up playing the NES titles, like
that's true.
Those are my,
I can see that. But yeah, Double Dragon 3 on Genesis, forget it. It doesn't even touch Streets of Rage, which is a classic. So, now, have you guys seen the Double Dragon movie?
I was going to bring that up, actually. I have, and it's really bad.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
It makes the Mortal Kombat movie look like some George Lucas film. Like it's pretty.
Yeah. I've seen parts of it, I guess. And to be honest,
it's better than Street Fighter Legend of Chun-Li, so it's not the worst movie ever.
Yeah, I haven't seen all of it, and I can't quote anything from it, but I think it's decent. It's okay. It's it's probably about what should have been expected. It's kind of average, cheesy. What's the villain in that movie? Some weird-looking guy or something.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I try to block that movie out of my memory as much as possible.
You guys. Movie villain. All right, I'm looking
Making a mockery of my favorite game.
Oh yeah, I see him now. Oh yeah, he looks like God. All right, I'll just send you guys the link if. Oh Jesus, this guy's something else. He looks like I don't know, like a 80s pop band lead singer, I guess would be the best.
David Bowie?
Yeah, well, no, not quite him, but he looks weird. He's like stroking that medallion there.
What the hell?
It's like Vanilla Ice and Hitler.
Okay, he's a far cry. He's a far cry from this. Let's say that.
Hey, don't be knocking a Bobo, man.
Is that guy's name?
Yeah.
The Cookie Monster?
Or
That's
It looks like Thing, yeah.
Oh, from the Fantastic Four, yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, I think he's like a ripped gingerbread man. The stage 1 boss.
Have either of you guys played that Bobo's Big Adventure? That homebrew thing?
Uh-uh.
It's some game starring him. I haven't checked it out yet, but it was all the rage not too long ago.
What's it?
It's called the Bobo's Big Adventure. It's some homebrew thing where they put him in a bunch of NES games.
Is there like a ROMs for him, or where do you play this at?
It's online, I think. It's just through a website. But
that's his name, a Bobo?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Oh man.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, that guy was terrifying the first time you fought him, alright?
Well, yeah, he busts through that door.
Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting. This kind of slipped my mind, but have any of you played Battletoads and Double Dragon: The Ultimate Team?
I played it once, way back then, but
I've played Battletoads, pretty much every incarnation of the game, and I've played Double Dragon, but I've actually never played any of the mixes. So.
Okay, well here's the rundown. There's 4 versions of the game. There's NES, Genesis, Super NES, and there's a Game Boy one, and I'm pretty sure the Game Boy one is I don't think I've ever. It's hard to find. We'll say that. I'm pretty sure, unless I'm mistaken, but the NES one is hard to find too because it's a late release. But I found the Genesis version at a Goodwill, took it home, played it, and Chase has just sent me oh, there it is. Okay.
No, that was me.
Oh, sorry.
There's a Bobo's Big Adventure for you.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I'll put this in the link. This will be interesting, or in the description. Oh man, that'll be fun to watch or play. This is a game, huh?
Yeah.
It puts them in NES games?
It's like a flash game that you play, but...
Oh, okay, alright.
Yeah, it's a great...
Yeah. Well, anyway, about the Battletoads, the first one I played was the version on Genesis, and it's really good, but it's much more Battletoads than it is Double Dragon, It's made by Rare, first off. I don't know who makes Double Dragon. Is it like Technos or something? I don't know who it is, but it's a lot more Battletoads than it is Double Dragon. And I've never played as one of the Lee brothers in it. I'm always Rash from Battletoads. So the Genesis version is really good. The next one I got is the NES version, or the Super NES version, which for some reason is damn near impossible. It's like 3 times harder than the Genesis version. I can't even beat the first level. It's the same game, but it's just really hard. And then the third version that I have is the NES version, which is my preferred version, because if you're going to play Battletoads or you're going to play Double Dragon, it's got to be 8-bit. And I think that's a good one. So if you want another Double Dragon game to dabble in, Nick, get that one.
I will definitely check it out.
Yeah, it's a little rare, but it's a fun game. It's fun. In fact, when I was talking earlier of my watch list that ended, one of the things that was on there was a complete in-box copy of Battletoads Double Dragon on the NES, sold for $150. So that's just a testament, I guess, to how
much does the cart go for usually?
I got mine for $20.
That's not bad.
No, it's not. The card isn't bad at all. I know it's gone up a little bit lately, so it'll probably cost more around $30. But for a game like that, it's it's not bad. Chase, I know you like to spend money on games, so for you, it's not even. It's not even a thing. All right, so unless you guys have anything else to say about Double Dragon, we can move on.
No, I think that sums it up.
Yeah, they need a revival. There's nothing. I haven't seen a Double Dragon thing in years.
I'm actually playing a Bobo's Big Adventure right now, and it's freaking awesome, for the record.
What? Okay. What are you in? Like, you said you're in NES games, right?
The first stage is actually Double Dragon, but you play as a Bobo, and like I just punched a Goomba, and now there's... Oh god, that's freaking awesome. I think he was supposed to be from River City Ransom, and I punched him, and his head exploded.
One thing we didn't mention about...
now all the Kung Fu guys are coming at me.
One thing that we didn't mention about Double Dragon, it has like the most offensive graphic opening scene ever. These muggers punch your girlfriend in the stomach
and take her
like
away.
all over their shoulders.
Oh, now the guy from TNC Surf Designs is trying to kick my butt.
I know what I'm doing when I get up here.
Yeah, this thing is awesome. I'm going to stop because otherwise I won't be able to talk.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Yeah, I'll put a link to that in the description. We'll, I'll have to give that a shot too. But anyway, we'll go ahead and move on to the last segment. This is a pretty long episode. We're touching base with an hour here, so. All right, so the last thing we talk about is the What We're Playing segment, where we just go ahead and talk about the games we've been playing lately. Nick, you've been starting a lot lately. Why don't we have you start again?
All right, fair enough. Well, I got 2. I'm on an old school kick this week.
Hey, that'll please a television dude who complains about not enough retro.
It's probably not retro enough for him because one's a Super Nintendo and one's a PlayStation, but still.
Yeah.
The first one is Donkey Kong Country. I don't know what made me want to play it the other day, but I just got this sudden urge to play it.
You, sir, have just touched my soul. It's like one of the best Super Nintendo games made.
I think it's the best 2D platformer ever made, in my opinion. It's just so fluid,
The best 2D platform. That is such a hard thing to come up with.
I agree, but that's my personal favorite, at least.
Yeah.
I can't disagree, but I think there's games I've enjoyed more, but I think it's all around. That whole trilogy is just an excellent series.
Yeah.
But anyway, go on. Go on.
Yeah, so I just got this kick to play it, so... I think I'm going to try and beat it, because I don't remember. I'm sure I beat it when I was, when it first came out, but...
Do you know where you're at?
I just barely started. I'm on, like, the first set.
That game is misleading. That game is misleading as all hell. Because when you play, you notice when you save, you have a percentage.
Yeah.
The only way to get 100% is to touch everything in that game. You have to unlock, like, all the secrets and crap. Now, I assumed that the game's percentage measurement didn't account for that and was just measuring my amount of levels. Not the case whatsoever. I think when I beat the game, I was like 60% done.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of extra in there.
Yeah, you got to find like every hidden area, and of which there's a ton.
Which is which is good. Replayability, but damn.
Yeah, but I just like we were talking about the Double Dragon music. I think that's another shining example of great video game
Holy
music.
shit!
Donkey Kong
great
Country.
I don't know if you guys caught my video, but I talked about Donkey Kong Country. It's it's my ringtone right now, actually. What is it? It's the it's the opening scene when Donkey Kong drops down with the boombox on his
Yeah, see, I remember when Donkey Kong Country first came out, and I brought it home, and I put it in, and like that opening scene, like I was hooked right from there. Like when he freaking, he drops the boombox on the old Donkey Kong, and then he throws the TNT barrel at him. I'm like, this game's gonna be great.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting is I heard that's a Rare game. I mean, made by Rare, not like expensive or anything, but it's made by Rare. And I think it was Shigeru Miyamoto who said that he hated it.
Yeah.
He did not like the game. He said something like players will play a game with terrible gameplay as long as it has good graphics or something. And I think he later apologized for it because obviously it's an excellent game. But I'm pretty sure
because he didn't make it.
I'm pretty sure he said that. Yeah, maybe he was a little sour. And I don't think he'd be too pleased to hear Chase's comments either. Greatest 2D platformer ever. Chase.
Yeah.
I'm a little partial to the second one, which is damn near impossible to beat. Never beat it.
I agree. I never beat the second one. I beat the first and third one, but the second it's rough.
Yeah, it's so hard.
I haven't played the second and third nearly as much. But.
Well, the thing is, the third one plays a lot like the first one because you have the Kiddy Kong, and he basically plays like Donkey Kong. He's just a big oaf. And then the second one, you have Diddy and Dixie.
Yeah.
And Dixie's the best, I think, because she can float, twirl her. Hey, I'm only human. No, but her hair twirls and she can float to long places and stuff. So I think 2 is probably my most played, but I think 1 is my favorite.
No.
All right. Anyway,
the second one that I spent a little bit of time with, not a whole lot, but just a little bit, was Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. On old PlayStation.
I wanted to get this on the Saturn. How's this?
It's fun. I mean, it's a puzzle game. It's a kind of like Tetris, but you're actually competing against another person while you play. And basically, as you make blocks and make them disappear, it'll drop blocks on the other person's side, and that's how you beat them. So. And while you're playing, the characters are doing their moves from Street Fighter and stuff against each other. It's fun. It's really hard though, to get good at.
Well, now how does it work? As far as gameplay, how is it like? Is it like Tetris or?
You've got I call it more like columns than Tetris. You've got different colored gems that drop down, and then you want to keep the colors together, and then you'll get these circular ones that if you drop it on the matching color, it makes all of them that it's touching disappear. And then if you do that, then it'll drop blocks on the other person's side. But when it drops the blocks, they're not instantly, breakable. They have a countdown timer, so when you drop them, you can't instantly break them.
No.
Kill the other person.
Now, this might be stupid. What system is this for?
It's on it's on PlayStation. It's on Saturn.
There's one on Game Boy Advance, I'm pretty sure, too.
There might be. And then there's a Xbox Live arcade version of it. And it was originally an arcade title. That's where it started.
I'm looking at gameplay now. Yeah, this looks like something I could get into.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really hard to master, but it's fun.
I like the idea that they're fighting as you delete the blocks.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. It's like cartoonish kind of graphics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of really want to get this for the Saturn now. Which is, the game kind of falls under the typical Saturn BS in that it's expensive.
Just go buy Xbox Live Arcade.
Yeah. Oh, do they have it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is Blanca in this game?
No, Blanca's not in it. You've got, it's only 8 characters.
Yeah, I'm seeing them now. There's I don't know who this guy is.
In Sakura, Hysenko, Felicia, Morgan.
I know 3 of them. Yeah. I know Ryu, Ken, and Chun-Li.
The others are from Darkstalkers. Morgan and Felicia are from Darkstalkers.
Okay, that's another Saturn game I want to get. Well, the sequel is on the Saturn, but I'm pretty sure it's a sequel anyway.
But yeah, that's what's taking up my time this week. So.
Man, that Donkey Kong, man. I might have to hook up the Super NES and give that a go. That's one of the few games I've actually beaten a few times for the Super Nintendo.
So
You what?
I said I'd cheat and just play it on emulators. But
Hey, that's, hey, nobody's judging.
well,
Nobody's
the reason I have my reasons for doing that because I don't have a lot of time, and if I want to be able to beat a game, like I want to be able to just save whenever I need to. So
Mhm.
I play it on an emulator, and I use save states, so I can save whenever I need. So that's
Yeah, that is without a doubt the hardest thing about Donkey Kong Country, in my opinion, is reaching those save points, because if you don't, uh, you lose. I mean, if you get a game over, you lose X amount of levels before you reach that save point. That's the hardest thing about the game, I think. Getting to, saving, getting to the save points, and when you don't, oh, furious.
Especially when you get into the later levels and stuff. They get further and further apart, and the levels just get harder,
Yep. Yep. That's a true game right there. Oh, man, that's such a good game. Now, I don't think Intellivision Dude is much of a fan of Donkey Kong Country.
that's his problem.
That's true.
He's not a fan of boxes either, so.
Oh, noob. No, I'm just a fan of boxes. Alright, Chase, what are you playing? I gotta think about what I'm playing yet.
I'm playing a few things. First thing I've been playing lately is Mario Party 2. Actually,
Oh, nice. That's my favorite one.
yeah, I haven't played it in a long time, and I actually, speaking of downloadable content, I actually downloaded it on Wii Shop just for fun. I don't like playing 64 games because I hate the controller on the 64, so I download a lot of the classics just on my Wii just to be able to play with a better controller. And I've kind of been replaying through it, and I gotta say, I've already screamed a few choice words at the game, but it's been a lot of fun. For sure.
Go ahead, Nick.
I was gonna say that's the joy of Mario Party is screaming profanities at the screen.
Yeah, but it's been a lot of fun. Very solid game overall. It's just fun.
That's my favorite one. I gotta tell you, that's my favorite. I'm trying to think my favorite mini game, and it's probably not even that great of a mini game, but it's called like Tipsy Turvy, where you're like in the sandbox and you gotta like tip it so the turtle shell like runs and uncovers these blocks and it like creates a picture. That's my favorite. That one and Bowser's Big Blast or something where you blow up the Bowser balloons.
That one's random. You like that one?
Yeah.
Huh. I like
the first Mario Party, Bowser's Big Blast was my favorite. I think in the second one it might be different. And Facelift. Facelift is awesome.
Facelift, yeah. I love Facelift. That's a great mini game. Let's see, what else I've been playing? I've been playing Defenders of Oasis on the Sega Game Gear. It's actually one of the few RPGs, and it's actually a turn-based RPG as well. It plays really well. I mean, it's pretty dated. It's your typical 8-bit, pretty old feeling RPG, but it plays well, and it's a generic storyline, but it's fun. It's interesting to play an RPG on Game Gear, just for the novelty of it.
I wouldn't have even thought of such a thing. I have that Shining Force game, as you know, but I remember when I didn't know what the hell an RPG was when I played this game, and it's like, there's a lot of talking in here, and every time I move, I don't get to punch anything or anything, so I just shut it off.
And the last game I've been playing is Dragonfire on the Intellivision. It's basically Dragonfire was ported to pretty much every system back then. I grew up playing my dad's version on the Atari of Dragonfire, and it's it's your typical Atari game. You run around and collect shit, and you get points, And the Intellivision version's kind of, I don't know. I don't like the controller on the Intellivision, obviously. I don't at all. But it's still kind of cool to play a different version of it since it's one of my favorite 2600 games.
Mm-hmm. Now that's in a Magic title, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Their games are usually pretty quality, right?
Yeah, they're kind of like a little bit under Activision in my mind. Activision, just great games.
Yeah. All right. Okay, what have I been playing? Well, I've said it for 3 weeks, and I'll say it again. I'm still playing Xenoblade Chronicles, which, Chase, I know you're an RPG player. Do you have this one yet?
Nope. I plan on I'm going to pick up Mario Party 9, speaking of Mario Party, and that at the same time here pretty soon, actually.
Yeah.
If I can get around to it.
If you're an RPG player, and I'm really not much of an RPG player, but I every time I play this game, I just get addicted. In fact, when I get done here, as soon as I get done playing Double Dragon and Above All's Big Adventure, I'll probably play Xenoblade for an hour. No, I don't know, but it's an excellent game. Can't say enough about it. What else have I been playing? Well, I hooked up the NES, which is rare now because it's packed away kind of, and it's a pain in the ass to get it out. The room's almost done, so I'll have a room tour pretty soon. But I played what NES games have I been playing? I played have you guys ever played Shatterhand?
I have not. I've heard good things though.
Yeah, Shatterhand. It's actually a Jaleco game. And I don't really know much about Jaleco other than their shitty end labels say Jaleco instead of the name of the game. Well, some of them do. Shatterhand doesn't, but Shatterhand is like it's like a, I don't know, I guess what I could compare it to, and I'm going to compare my second game as well. It's kind of like a side-scroller, like Ninja Gaiden, I guess, like Castlevania, that kind. Side-scrolling action game. It's not really a beat-em-up, but a hack and whatever you want to call that. And the guy has, like, hands. They're like fists of, like, steel. And he can, like, butt through pillars, and, you know, he punches everything. It's a pretty cool game. Controls well, and yeah. And I have a double for sale. Anybody who's interested. Shameless
plug.
Yep, yeah. Oh, man, I have no ethics. No, and then another game. Actually, I have two more that I've been playing off and on. Have you guys ever played Super Dodgeball on the NES?
Wow.
Of course.
Yeah, that's well, you know, I have to ask, you know, but that I played that a little bit. Also because I have a double. That's the only reason I played it. So, you know, I had, but yeah, you know, Super Dodgeball. People love it. I can't get into it like 100%, and I know it's good. I just can't connect all the way.
You just don't understand the intricacies of dodgeball.
I guess not. Yeah. And I want to get the DS version, because I know there's a DS one.
It's not bad. It doesn't have that same nostalgia as the original. But...
Does it have any flickering? Because the flickering is annoying.
No, it doesn't have any flickering.
Okay, well. So Dodgeball, I played a little bit of that, not much. But this last game is one that actually surprised me, and it's like it's kind of like a Ninja Gaiden ripoff a little bit. It's called Shadow of the Ninja, and it's made by, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, Natsume maybe?
Natsume, that's how I usually say it.
Yeah,
it's Natsume.
They make, I gotta tell you, they make quality games. They do, like Harvest Moon, you know, Wild Guns on the Super NES. That's another Natsume game. And then Shadow of the Ninja is another one, which I had never heard of, but the pawn shop had it. I went ahead and got it, just a couple bucks. And yeah, it's a pretty fun Ninja Gaiden type game. A little easier, but most things are. A little easier than Ninja Gaiden, but you know, I've been playing it a little bit. It's still hard and annoying at times, but you know, I've played that a little bit for the NES. And that's it. I don't know. I haven't played Skyward Sword in probably 2 weeks after I got Xenoblade.
Yeah, I abandoned Skyward Sword as soon as I downloaded Mario Party.
How far into Skyward Sword are you?
Not far at all. I was just getting ready to go into like the second temple. Pretty much.
Oh damn! Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not far at all.
Oh yeah, I guess not. Yeah. But, yep, that's all I'm playing. Wish I had more. I always go into GameStop and I always see like, oh, this Xbox game looks pretty cool. Oh, this new 3DS game. Oh, this, you know, Wii game over here looks pretty cool. Never get anything. Never do it. Walk out of the store empty-handed. Save the money, but I just come back and play Xenoblade. Okay. All right, well, that's the end of the show, fellas. That's what we're playing is the end. So, so yeah, next week we'll have another show. Chase, you know, it was cool to have you on. That was cool. It worked out excellently, really.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm sure you'll be on again. Guess
it went well. So.
Yeah, guests are kind of cool. That's kind of interesting. Give a third opinion in here. So, all right. Well, yeah, that's it for this. I'll leave a link to Chase's channel. Make sure you check it out. I'll leave a link to a Bobo's Big Adventure. You got to check that out.
Just put links to everything that we linked. Like every link you sent us, put a link in there.
The Double Dragon movie enemy villain. The Double Dragon.
The Nintendo World Championship. I said championship. The Nintendo World Championship cartridge.
You can't say that. That's against the law. No. But yeah, the description will be full of links. So just go down there and look at it. Look at it and nod in approval. So, All right, so that's it for episode 4. So yeah, we'll be back next week, guys. So until then, take it easy.
See you next time, guys.